So hey guys, today we have Gagan Arya and he's having almost 5.5 years of experience in Java and Spring Boot. And those who are interested to give the same mock interview, please fill out the form below in the description. So hey, hi Gagan, how are you?
Yeah, hello, Fajan. I'm good. How are you?
I'm also good. So shall we start?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Gagan Arya. I have started my career in 2018 with TCS. I worked in TCS like almost 3.5 years. Then I switched to FIS Global. So basically, I have worked on technologies like a Spring Boot and like recent versions of Java. In FIS, I'm working on like microservices based architecture, and in TCS, I've worked on like monolithic based architecture. So I have both experience like splitting a monolithic application into a microservice based architecture. So if I talk about my tech stacks, majorly I've worked in a backend, like Spring Boot for as a framework for the development part, and we have used Java 8, Java 17, and recently we have migrated our application to Java 21 as well. And apart from that, for writing unit tests and integration tests, we are using JUnit and Mockito. And along with that, we are writing in Groovy as well. This is
Mhm.
Spock framework. Along with that, for production log monitoring, we are using Splunk dashboard for creating alerts, dashboards, and many more things for monitoring purpose. And for deploying our application, we are using Jenkins, and majorly we are deploying our application on Kubernetes. And apart from that, we have for the versioning tool, we are using Git and GitHub. Yeah, that's all about me.
So Gagan, as you said, you are using Java 21. Like, that's one
Yeah.
of the latest version. So can you please tell me like what all new changes have been arrived in Java 21 which you
Like
worked on?
majorly we have not specifically migrated
Mm,
our application. There are few updates are there, we have records. Previously we were using for creating our puzzles we have to write like getters, setters, and all.
mm-hmm.
Now
Okay.
then Lambo came into the picture.
Yeah.
We replaced with that. Now
Yes.
that poses are replaced with records. Like we
Okay.
need not to write like getters, setters, not to provide any annotation for
Mm-hmm.
which we provide for the Lambok. So now
Okay.
records take care of all these things.
Okay. So, and do you know about like in Java from onward Java 8, what were the major changes that
Like
happened?
Java, it was the it has the major
Yeah, major.
upgrades. So
Mm,
few of the functionalities was lambda expression,
mm,
optional keyboard. Uh,
mm,
we can say Stream API is like one of the major feature that everyone
mm,
uses in the like Java 8. And
mm,
functional interfaces was there. Like
mm,
when we have an interface with a like only single abstract class and any number of default and static methods, that is called
mm.
functional interface. These are the like major changes in Java 8.
So, I mean, in Java 8, the internal working of HashMap was changed. So,
Yeah,
can you please tell me what was the changes before
yeah,
Java 8?
yeah. In the hash map, basically the values are stored in the form of key value pair.
Mm-hmm.
So when we are trying to add any key and value into the hash map, then
Mm-hmm.
based upon the key, hash code is created. On that
Mm-hmm.
hash code, the bucket location is calculated through that hash code. So at that position, values are stored into that hash map by using the dot equals method. If that particular value is not available at there, then it will be inserted.
Okay.
And if there's a if there's a value already available at the key, then a linked list is created. It was the previous implementation of the hasmap. Parallelly the linked list was created, but after the Java, there was
Uh,
few modification in
Few
the internal
modifications.
structure. Yeah. So along when the threshold is used for that linked list, and linked list is into the arbitrary,
Yeah, okay. So
that like thing.
now from
So that
Java,
like
we are using arbitrary, right?
yeah, internally we are using Java. Yes, arbitrary.
Mhm. Okay, okay. So in the Java entry point, we know we have Java public static void main. So it's an entry point of any Java program. So
Any
can
Java
we,
point.
yeah, yeah. So can we overload and override this main method?
Uh, we cannot override the main method. I'm not sure about this.
Mm. And what about override?
Uh, I think we cannot override main method.
Yeah, so we cannot override main method because the static method cannot be
It's
overridden.
cannot be
Yeah, yeah.
overridden. Yes.
But we can overload the main method.
Yeah, we
We
can
just
overload.
need to change the arguments and all. But
Yes.
the catch is like our overloaded method will not be executed by JVM.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So moving ahead. So as you said, you have already worked on REST APIs and all. So how do you secure REST API?
Basically, we are using a string security. String
Mm-hmm.
security in that, like, if we have created an API and some external API is trying to access our API.
Mm-hmm.
So these are like requests are authenticated through IDP.
Okay.
Initially, that user needs to be registered on IDP portal, like which
Mm-hmm.
FIS is having its own. When they are registered, they used to provide us the JW2 token. When the JW2 token is provided into the authentication header, then
Mm-hmm.
we used to validate the JW token. Once it is
Okay.
validated, then
Mm.
provide access to our API. Otherwise, they are not authorized to access our application.
Okay. Okay. So what is this REST versioning?
Sorry.
REST versioning.
Basically, REST versioning is used to when there is an upgrade in our application, like
Mm-hmm.
when we are upgrading our application, but at the same time we want our application to be backward compatible, so that if someone is already using that application, that does not break that request. Like if I give an example, like our API accept 10 fields. From
Mm-hmm.
that 10 fields, there are 5 fields which are mandatory, that they need to be sent by
Mm-hmm.
some end user. Now
Mm-hmm.
our application has to be upgraded. Now we want 2 more fields in that mandatory fields. So, but
Okay.
if someone is, we are adding that 2 more new fields. Now total we have 12 fields. So if someone is sending a request without these new 2 fields, then it will break. In that situation, we will upgrade our version of our API. So if
Mm-hmm.
someone else wants to try the prior version, they can use the prior version of our API. If
Okay.
the recent changes are there and they want to use that, then they can use the latest version of API.
Okay. 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 So like we use REST controller annotation in our REST APIs, right? So can we use only controller annotation?
Yeah, that REST control annotation is basically a combination of response,
Mm-hmm.
and the controller. Along with the controller, we can individually use a controller, and we can explicitly provide the response in our controller in that
And
particular.
okay.
Mhm.
So and what is Spring Boot application annotation?
Spring Boot annotation is the basically a combination of 3 annotation: component scan, enable configuration, and the configuration. These are the three major annotations when we start our application. At the rate component scans the application, find to where the application is actually located, and
Okay.
enable configuration, it enables all the configuration which we have done in our form file.
Form file.
And that configuration is basically it configures our application, it loads the server and all.
Okay. So, like auto varying, right? So, like, what is the link between this enable auto configuration and auto varying thing? Do we have any link?
No, I exactly, I do not.
Okay. So,
um,
can we disable auto configuration?
we can disable auto configuration by excluding it, and
So, will this auto varying things work after disabling auto configuration?
uh, no idea.
So, yeah, it won't work if we
Okay,
enable auto configuration is mandatory for all of these auto
all the
varying things.
applications. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, moving ahead. Uh, Can we override or replace our embedded Tomcat server?
Yeah, we can override. Let's say if someone wants to use the Jetty, then
Mm-hmm.
from the from the dependency, we can exclude that Apache Tomcat server, and we can include a Jetty server. So by using the exclusion tag, we can remove that.
So have you used any caching things in your application?
I have used, but not frequently.
Okay. Like, do
I'm
you know
familiar
how
with,
can we add caching things?
yeah, like by using at the rate cacheable annotation, by cache
Mhm.
wait, cache put. Like I know the basic things, but
Oh,
not
okay.
majorly used.
Mhm. And what is this response entity?
Sorry.
Response entity. Do you know about response entity?
Like response identity, basically we provide the responses along with the error codes. If someone wants to try our application along with the response, we are providing the response codes as well, like a 400 or 500.
Okay, okay. Okay, so you worked on schemas, right? Schemas and all,
Yeah,
making.
yeah.
So, how would you develop a database schema for a car rental service?
Basically, car rental service, there can be multiple. Let me give one scenario.
Mhm.
There's an organization which provides cars on rental purposes. So
Mhm.
we can have a different schemas, different database tables. Like we can have a user table in that
Mhm.
a particular information user related informations are stored,
Mhm.
and we can have some another table like cars, like which
Yeah.
all. So basically we can have first of all we can have a user table in that user
Mhm.
related information related user id username
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
that all the verified data, like if as a rental company we have to verify that user as well, like all the if he wants to verify through Aadhaar or some
Mhm.
another like
Mhm.
passport, or we can say uh,
Mhm.
this driving license. So we can use verify that user, and
Okay.
we can have a table for cars, like how many cars are we have available, and like properties of the specific car, like in how much per day cost we are trying to provide that car,
Mhm.
and in which city this car is located, and address of that car owner, like car related information, owner of that car.
Mhm.
And if someone first of all is a user comes to us, then first of all we will verify that user. Once that user is verified, then again in some they will select the car. So we will create like either we can create a separate table in which the both the like cars and user will be attached by through we can say user id or car id, we can say.
Okay, okay.
And
And what about rental agreements?
yeah, that's uh, mm, we can create one more table in which we can specify like for how many days they are trying to rent
Mhm.
that car, and fees for that, we can increase that fees by creating some internal functions.
Mhm.
If the number of days increases by the days, then
Mhm.
we can increase their rental fees. And we can create like how much money they have deposited as a security amount. We can add this column as well. Uh,
Yeah, okay, so I think. Uh,
mm,
so have you visited Zomato app
Sorry.
or Zomato app on your phone?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so can you write the mandatory fields, entity fields or TTO fields for the delivery partner boy? Like what fields would you add?
For a partner boy.
Delivery partner.
Okay. uh, Partner id,
Mm.
partner name,
Mm.
partner location,
Okay.
and is that partner verified.
Mm.
Like we can add personal details of him, Aadhaar
Mm.
card, PAN card, and
Mm.
all.
Mm.
Is partner boy having driving license,
Mm.
and
Is partner
rate
available?
is partner available,
Mm.
and the rating of that partner,
Mm.
and is partner having any bike or not. But if it is mandatory for registering
Mm.
that
At,
and
at
a
the
partner.
registration time.
uh, some organizations provide rented bikes as well.
Mm.
So do they have rented bike, or they have their own bike?
Mhm. So how would you store ratings?
Based ratings, we can store in the float like 4.5, 4.3 to, we can create a like
Mhm.
um,
And comments,
yeah,
like
comments,
feedback
mm,
and these types.
feedback. For that we have to create a
String of
different
array.
string of array, like different we have to create a different table for that,
Mhm.
for storing, for linking that particular partner ID to the particular different string of arrays. Yeah, that's, I think enough.
So, like, can you tell me the difference between component annotation and service annotation?
Basically, that service annotation is used to write a specific service in a REST API. Like in the when we are using the service annotation, like all the business logics are written into that particular, uh, we can say, what particular class. If a class is
Mhm.
annotated as a service, then all
Mhm.
the business logic related to that particular application is written in that. But in the like component scan is basically that is used to scan our like packages, in which packages
No,
that
no,
particular
I'm not component is kind. Only component at the rate component.
at the rate component.
Mhm.
Mm. Uh, Basically, it is a class level annotation which is used to mark a specific class as component, and like, I'm not able to explain it properly.
Yeah, yeah, no worries. So, can we
Mm.
use a component annotation instead of service in the service files?
Uh, we uh,
As
we
yeah, yeah, go ahead.
we can use, but like how then we will mark that service as a service? It will remain as.
Yeah, so we can use component annotation. So the only difference between these is like in the service annotation, we have several things related to the service files like errors and all. Otherwise,
Mhm.
both are almost same.
Almost
Even the
similar. Okay.
repository as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, have you integrated any database in your Spring Boot project?
Yeah. Let
So, which database?
SQL. Like I have done multiples like
Like,
MongoDB, SQL,
yeah,
and
yeah.
but there are multiple microservices are there. They are using
Okay.
different database. Like some is using
Hmm.
DynamoDB, some is using
Hmm.
MongoDB, and we are using Oracle Siebel as well. For
Okay.
that, we are using SOAP services.
Okay. So, how do you add or integrate database in Spring Boot application? Like, do
Like
we have any procedure or steps?
for connecting to a database, we have to like first of all we have to add this dependency. Like if I'm using MySQL, then
Mm-hmm.
in the pom.xml I'll add the dependencies for that particular database, and
Mm-hmm.
after that the dependencies are added into my pom file. Then we have to update our application.properties. In that application.properties, you provide the database URL, username, password,
Mm-hmm.
and for that, and then we can use JPA annotations for accessing our that particular database. Like JPA interface provide predefined messages, or we can write the custom queries as well, so that we can perform the CRUD operation on that particular database.
Okay. Mm. Okay. So, as you said, you are working on microservice architecture, right? So, which one is better as per your opinion, like monolithic or microservices?
Like I have worked in like both the environments. I have worked in
Mm.
TCS and the
Mm.
monolithical, as well as in the
Microservices.
microservices as well.
Mm.
So like they both have their own pros and cons. Like if I talk
Okay.
about microservices, like better benefit is that you need not to like deploy our whole application. If there's a like upgrade in that
Mm.
application, we can simply upgrade at that particular microservices, and we can
Mm.
deploy that application. But
Okay.
in the monolithic application, if you have a single upgrade, then you have to deploy
Mm.
our whole application. Like each and every features needs to be upgrade, like deployed,
Mm.
they needs to be tested. But in the microservices, it is not there. Like we can test our microservices based upon the
Mm.
contracts, and we can
Mm.
deploy that application. But for microservices, we like there should be like lots of security features needs to be added, which
Mhm.
microservices can access, which cannot access. But in
Mhm.
the monolithical, this is like pretty simple. They have
Mhm.
their endpoints internally; they can call each other.
Mhm.
And for the microservices, like we have a feasibility that we can use any other programming language. Like if
Mhm.
microservices A can use Java and their framework, some other
Mhm.
microservices can use .NET, and third
Mhm.
microservice can be used Python, Node, and all.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. So have you heard about the Amazon Prime recently? Like they shifted from microservices to monolithic architecture.
Sorry, which
Amazon Prime Video.
Amazon Prime videos?
They
Yeah,
shifted from microservice architecture to because
monolith.
it was complex to handle a lot of things together.
Like I'm not familiar much. I'll go through it by today.
Yeah. Okay.
Like
Fine.
why they have switched actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Fine. So, okay. So, like you already said, you are working with Git version control as well, right? GitHub and all. So, do you know the difference between merge and rebase?
Basically, merge is when we are merging our master branch to a local branch. If there
Mm-hmm.
is a change into the like someone push changes to the master branch and we do not have their changes in our branch, so
Mm-hmm.
we in that situation we can merge the master changes which are pushed by someone else to
Mm-hmm.
in our branch. This is merge. And reverse, we can say based upon our changes, they
Mm-hmm.
can some other branch can be merged on our branch.
Mm-hmm.
This is the reverse.
Okay. Okay. So, how do you resolve the conflicts?
Basically, as of now, we are like like we are resolving the conflicts for every single class by like when we are trying to merge a class, then
Mm-hmm.
the merge conflicts arises. Then we have to resolve our conflicts based upon like which version is to be either left or right, or we have to add our own.
So,
So
how you are resolving means like manually or
manually.
manually.
Hmm.
Okay. So, moving ahead. So, uh, have you used array list, linked list, and hash set in your project?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Majorly, we are using has map for
Okay. So, where you have used this array list, linked list, and hash set? Can you tell me the situations?
Uh, Analyst is basically when we are trying to access our application, like access
Mm-hmm.
some data, and we are
Mm-hmm.
simply representing to an endpoint. Like in the response, we are returning some data. But
Mm-hmm.
in the array list, when we have to when we are fetching some data from databases, and on the database, we have to perform some modifications operations.
Okay.
Like if I give an example. We have basically we have created an application as a like merchant solutions. Like if I can give an example of this McDonald's, this is an like merchant for us. We used to onboard their application, and we
Mm-hmm.
have to save their data to the database. And meanwhile,
Okay.
sometimes then that owner of that merchant comes and they wants to increase the number of counts of an outlet. Like they wants to open some outlet in some their new city. So
Mm-hmm.
for that there can be a possibility they wants to add some owner details for that particular location.
Mm-hmm.
And some like sometimes there are like multiple partners are there. So sometimes we comes into a situation they wants to change their partner.
Mm-hmm.
Like previously there were two partners, now they are having three partners. So in that situation we are using uh, analyst, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they wants to replace a partner with some other partner, then we are using linked list.
Mm. When we need updation and all this stuff.
Yes.
And hash set.
Has said like some when we are using some unique values like mm, example like there are multiple outlets can be there in the different countries, and they deals in some different currencies. Like some are using GBP, some are using INR. So we
Mhm.
when we have to like combine these currency, then we use hash set. Like in which country, which currencies are used.
Okay. So how does the hash set ensure that there are no duplicates?
Um, hash set. Basically, this is the functionality of hash set. They can we can store values in a in a distinct manner. Uh, it internally use dot equals method to compare the values.
Yeah, so basically it calculates. So I mean we use a hash table. So hash set uses hash table internally, and when we try to add a new item, so hash set calculates a special code for it, and this
Mhm.
code decides where in the hash table the item should go. Like if there is already an item with the same code, uh, so I'm talking about hash code. So if there is already an item with the same code at the spot, the new item won't be added because it's considered duplicate. So
Yeah.
this way, hash set quickly keeps all the unique elements. Okay. Uh, so, can you tell me like why optional class was introduced in Java 8?
Optional was introduced to basically to handle our null pointer exception when there is an object like which can
Mhm.
contains null values. So by using optional dot nullable or optional dot off, then the null pointers can be handled easily.
Okay.
Previously, we used to try
Mhm.
catch and use that catch in like null pointer exception in the catch, but now we can use simply the optional keyboard.
Okay. So, do you have knowledge on design patterns?
Yeah, not like hands-on majorly, but I have understanding of the design patterns.
So why we use design pattern? I mean, why they are important?
Basically, design patterns are predefined steps that needs to be followed for
Mhm.
designing a specific application. Like there are multiple design patterns. Saga is there, CQR is
Mhm.
there, and circuit
Mhm.
breaker design pattern is there.
Mhm.
So they have their different like advantages for using them. Like
Mhm.
if I talk about Saga, there can be e-commerce application in which like we are having multiple microservices that are there
Mhm.
for like adding an object, adding a project product to an outlet, like
Okay.
adding the product to an inventory. And for
Mhm.
the payment, we have different microservices. For delivery, we have
Mhm.
different microservices. So
Mhm.
Saga ensures that there are data consistency in between all the microservices. Like if
Okay.
a product is not available into the inventory, then we are not going to follow for adding that product to an cart and then making payment is that. So Saga plays an important role in this kind of like microservices. And
Okay.
CQRS is that common query segregation, common
Mhm.
query in that like we use different databases for our requirement for our
Mhm.
application. Like if I give an example of Instagram, they use
Mhm.
two different like Postgres and SQL for their own purposes. Like they are using relational databases like Postgres
Mhm.
for
Mhm.
uh, representing the reels and
Mhm.
stories. But for adding that information about particular using, they are using SQL.
Okay.
And circuit breaker is something like that when the two applications are trying to when one application A is trying to access application B,
Mhm.
but there is a but if there is an like issue with the application B, then
Okay.
in that situation, circuit breaker comes into the picture when
Okay.
application A is sending a request to application
Mhm.
B and B is
Mhm.
properly sending the response to A. Then this is a code like open state. They can simply interact with each other. And
Okay.
if application A is trying to application B and application B is not
Mhm.
providing the response to application A for a
Mhm.
specific duration, like for we can say we can create a threshold of time, like
Mhm.
20, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, or whatever time we
Mhm.
decide. Like we'll take an example of 5 minutes. They do
Mhm.
not provide the response. Then application A will stop sending the request to application B and it will give a specific duration of time for application B to recover. Like in
Mhm.
the meanwhile, they can recover. Like if there might be a possibility that their database is down, their network is down. So in
Okay.
that, after a threshold time, application A again will start sending a request to application B, This will be
Okay.
called half closed position. We can half closed state. So
Mm,
circuit breakers works in this pattern.
okay. Okay. Nice, nice. So, like you already working on projects and I think you already used packages, right? So,
Yes.
like, can you tell me like what are packages and why do we use this? I mean, we can work without packages while creating Spring Boot application, right? But
Mhm.
why do we use this package?
Uh, like packages are basically what we are doing.
Mm-hmm.
Packages are something like we wants to store, we wants to make our application organized in a specific manner. Like we are creating some configure classes,
Mm-hmm.
and we have created all the like configuration classes. Put all these classes into the configure classes, and we have created another package called details. And
Mm-hmm.
when the pictures comes, like when we have to scan our application, when we are running this Jenkins job, then
Mm-hmm.
for deploying our application, our code needs to be like code coverage needs to be like 80%, which is we
Yeah.
are doing. And
Mm-hmm.
there should be no vulnerabilities like black duck. We are using black duck
Mm-hmm.
to scan our application. There should be no black. So
Mm-hmm.
like for the configuration classes and for the details, we are not writing any unit test for them.
Mm-hmm.
And they need not to be tested. So they
Okay.
needs to be excluded from sonar check, sonar coverage,
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
whether their code is covered on the. So if we have that particular folder, particular
Mm-hmm.
package, then we can then at least exclude that particular package from our sonar coverage. So this is
Okay.
the purpose which we are like
And
why we are using.
what are the best practices for naming packages?
Uh, there should be like in
Like package name should be lowercase letters, right?
yeah, low it should start with the lowercase, like
Mm-hmm.
lowercase dot, and we cannot say camel case, but like object, all the characters should be in the lowercase.
And we should use domain names from the reverse, like first com dot, right?
Yes, correct. Com dot like package name, and generally like we are using
It should
services.
be short, meaningful.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, so these are some
Mhm.
practices. Okay. Uh, so do you know about transient keyword?
No, transient like not much familiar. Like I'm not used.
Okay, so this is one of the keyword in Java and it is used to indicate that a field should not be serialized.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Like, how do you handle when two threads need to update the same data structure? Where two threads trying to update the same data structure?
Uh, Basically, we're using transaction at the rate transactional annotation. Like we
Mm-hmm.
have a scenario in which for communication between our microservices,
Mm-hmm.
we are using Kafka. Like we used to two microservices used to publish their data to Kafka
Mm-hmm.
topic, and at the same time we have a two threads. Like we are trying to publish same data to a same Kafka topic. So in
Okay.
that we are using transactional at the rate transactional keyword. In that two threads can like work together. Like when a first thread can complete the publishing
Mm-hmm.
the data, then some another thread can publish the data.
Okay. So have you worked with async annotation?
Sync async, I have not worked, but I'm like little bit familiar with that.
Can you brief on this?
Like async is they are used, these annotations are used to like if someone is trying to fetch the data from a database, and along with that there's another proceeding sorry, we can say successive step is there. In
Mm-hmm.
that they have to follow. So the next step will not wait for the response of the response which we are going to receive from database, and further step can be performed, and for like
Okay.
a specific duration.
Okay.
Yeah.
And, so, like, why do we use zero test cases? Can
uh,
deploy our application without those test cases, but again. Why do we use?
Like basically, unit tests are used to specifically test all the scenarios of a particular class. Like if I'm
Mhm.
writing in a class, if I have like best practice is that we have to write a single functionality in a single class. They should not
Mhm.
be. We have to perform like we have to write a code into the following a solid principles like single responsibility in a single class. So
Mhm.
in that particular class, we can by writing the unit test, we can verify all the scenarios that can be there. Like if we are writing a method, then we can test all the scenarios so that if any error occurs, then we can simply identify in our unit tests. Like there can be possibility of null pointer exception,
Mhm.
or there can be possibility of some integration, like
So
some
what are
database
the
might
mandatory annotations uh, for writing these test cases?
like at the rate Mockito, at the
Mhm.
rate test, at the rate inject mock, and at the
Mhm.
rate mock.
Okay. Okay. So do you know about bean and its life cycle, spring bean?
Bean life cycle, like how beans are created, how beans are
Yeah.
injected into the container. So when the
Mhm.
application starts, that it creates all the beans,
Mhm.
and they are registered into the bean container, and and these beans are initialized. So when some application is trying to find a specific bean, then they will search into the container. Like sometimes
Mhm.
there can be scenarios that two beans can have their same names.
Okay.
So by using that like at the rate qualifier and notation, we can identify between the two beans which
Okay.
beans to use.
Mhm. So how would you modify an existing Spring Boot application into serverless architecture?
Um, no, like I have not done that.
Okay.
Not much familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that is fine. Okay, so I'll give you one coding problem. You don't need to write code. You just need to
Hmm.
tell me the logic. What logic would you apply, right? So you are
Yeah.
given an array, and this array there might have elements from zero to any number. Okay,
Hmm.
so your task is to move zeros to the right side and all the elements in the left side. So how will you solve this?
Uh,
Let's say we have 10203. So
okay.
it should be 12300.
Okay. We have to move all the zeros to the right.
Right. Yes, yes. Like
Um,
what would be the time complexity of your code?
um, one I can do is that by using that stream dot grouping by function, in that I can store all the elements like with their count. Like for one we have count as two, one for three
Mhm.
we have count as one, and for the
Mhm.
zero we can count have any number of zero that which we are having our array.
Mhm.
So in that, and we will have an hash map with these key and values. Key as a like that particular number, and count of that particular count is as frequency of that particular number, and simply we can print that has map. But in that complexity will be like
And
order
log
of
n.
and log n, yes. And one more thing we can simply use. Okay, what we can do is that if we like we will start iterating over that array, and
Mhm.
if we got if we got
So we can swap also, right? I mean,
we can swap also, yes. We can replace that zero with the uh, last element of our array.
so we can use two pointer and wherever zero and non-zero comes, so we can just use
Yes,
them.
based upon that we can swap, yes.
Okay. So can we
La-
sort? Can we sort any array with only one loop?
Sort array only with one loop, like Yeah, we can do it like we can use left pointer and right pointer, and we can start a loop from zero to length of that particular array,
Mhm.
and we will start iterating from zero and
Mhm.
till the end. Left will be like one. We'll increase the left by one and decrease the left by one when there's a matching condition is there. Like
So you
if
are
left
saying to swap or what?
like swap.
Okay, but I don't think so. Like if you had a condition from one to n, like from I one to n, if we swap, so I think so it will be sorted.
Sorry, come again, come again.
So you are saying you will iterate in loop from one or sorry zero to n minus one or zero to
Yes.
n.
Hmm.
Okay, and in for each iteration you will just check two consecutive elements. Uh,
Not to no not I'll not check the two consecutive elements. I'll check the first element with the last element. If first element is
mhm,
greater than the last element, then I'll
mhm.
swap both of them.
Okay.
Then I'll increase the left by one. If element as left is greater
Mhm,
than uh, the element as the right, then we will
mhm.
swap them.
So I'm not sure on this, but yeah, we can check later.
Mhm.
Okay. So yeah, Gagan. So it's done from my end.
Yeah,
It was nice interview.
thank you.